Hello folks, my name is Mark, this is Why I Hate the World. How you guys doing? So, Trump has been the president for 2 months now, and a little under 2 months, and his performance has been abysmal. Absolutely ridiculous. He's in the middle, he's had like pretty much a negative headline every single day, and he's had, 6, 7 major scandals, and right now he's in the middle of a really huge one with the whole Russia thing that's, Jeff Sessions recused himself over, and his people in his cabinet are like resigning over this shit, General Flynn, stuff like that, and it's pretty major, right? And the reason why I haven't done a video on that yet is because the story keeps developing, and I don't think it's done yet, so I'm waiting for that to cook a little bit. Anyway. But there are, he still does have supporters, and you get, you still see people making arguments as to why he should be a good president or whatever. And the thing is that they're the same arguments over and over and over. And there's a couple that I think are just ridiculous. And I'm pretty much to the point where, like, any mention of these kind of shut down the conversation for me because they hold no frickin' water. So I'm going to go through some of those with you guys. First off, any argument that compares Trump to Hillary is completely irrelevant. The election is over. Now, you could say that when, during the campaign, during the election, you could say that, you could try to do that sort of like, well, she's just as bad type argument, right? Even though that was bullshit then. But now it's even, even more relevant because she lost. The campaign is over. She's not the president. So you can't compare anything that he does to what she does because it's a false equivalency now. I mean, if you could compare it to anything, the only thing you can compare Trump now to is to other presidents. So Obama, Clinton, Bush, whatever. You can compare them to Donald Trump, but not Hillary, all right? And here's the thing is that even if those other presidents or Hillary were to have done something illegal or unethical, that doesn't give Trump a free pass to do it also. That's another thing, okay? It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit, and it's like, because you see this a lot, like now with the Russia thing, the argument I'm seeing is that, well, Bill Clinton proposed to, asked Putin for permission to go give paid talks in Russia, right? So what? That has nothing to do with anything that the Trump people did whatsoever. I mean, it doesn't matter, even if they did do something really illegal, even if you had video of, like, Hillary shooting up crack with, in Putin's fucking backyard, that still doesn't excuse anything that you see from Trump. That's a classic false equivalency. Number two, Trump turned around the economy. That's bullshit, all right? In fucking a month and a half, no, he didn't turn around shit. I mean, first off, not enough time has passed, right? So you have to, you could say that 6 months from now, like if we saw marked economic growth in 6 months, let's say that the, let's say the unemployment rate went down to like 1.9% or some ridiculous miracle like that. Then you could say, yeah, okay, Trump's policy did that. But, he was only like inaugurated on the 20th. All right. So it hasn't even been 2 months. Okay. No, he didn't turn around shit. Secondly, he hasn't actually passed any economic bills yet. No stimuluses, no nothing. Right. So you can't say Trump is saving jobs or that, Trump turned around the economy. It's like, no. All right. The unemployment rate is at like 4.9. It's been around there, been around that for the last like 2 years. This is the Obama economy. Okay. Right now, what we're seeing right now is the Obama economy. Come back in 6 months or a year, and then we'll see the Trump economy. And then you can compare the two and you can say, okay, it increased or it decreased or whatever, all right? But, that's like coming in the first day on a new job and then claiming, that your sales numbers went up or some shit. It's like, no, that's bullshit. Let's see. Obama left a mess for Trump in the Middle East. That's something I've been hearing. Yeah, well, who left this mess for Obama in the first place? Okay, let's not forget who actually started all the wars in the Middle East and all that, because in 2001, the Middle East was essentially stable. All right. Then Now, 16 years later, it's not. Right. What happened? I mean, there were a couple of wars there that one of our American presidents started. His name started with a B and ended with an H. He had an R next to his name. So let's not like try to blame, Obama left a message. Get the fuck out of here, right? If you want to blame anybody for destabilizing the Middle East, right, for starting the Iraq War, the fucking Afghan War, both of those which are still going in some form. I mean, all the troops have been officially gone, but there's still like, raids and bombing campaigns and stuff, and a small number of troops left there. If you want to blame anybody for that shit, you should be blaming the Republicans. All right, you should be blaming Bush and the Republicans who got us into this mess in the first place. And that's something that you're seeing because right now on the news, they're trying to like rehabilitate Bush's image and stuff like that. It's like, no, don't forget that. All right, all of this shit that's happening right now is his fault. It's his fault, and it's the Republicans in Congress. The media is biased against Trump. Oh my God. What fucking planet are these people living on? That's complete fucking bullshit. I mean, first off, all right, when you're the president, you live under scrutiny, okay? That's just what happens when you're the president. You have guys reporting on what you ate for breakfast that morning, right? Obama came out one time wearing a tan suit, and he got like, negative press for that shit. So, don't talk about fucking the media being biased against you, Number two, Trump wouldn't be the fucking president if it wasn't for the media in the first place, all right? Don't forget about that shit either. I mean, he got like $5 billion of free airtime or something ridiculous like that. He was just constantly on Fox and Friends and on Bill O'Reilly, and they just had him on all the time, CNN, even the other networks, like CNN, for example, would show an empty Trump podium. Like, in fact, there was one, like, for, like, an hour. They just showed an empty podium, and then they had guys talking over it, right? And then MSNBC and CNN would do shit like they would show an entire Trump rally, the entire thing, from start to finish. It's like, did Bernie Sanders get that kind of, like, media attention? Did Hillary Clinton get that kind of media attention? Did they show an entire Hillary fucking rally from start to finish? Were they having, like, her empty podium sitting there for an hour and guys talking about it? No, they didn't, all right? So don't fucking try to pretend that, the media is biased against Trump. If anything, the media created this fucking guy. They allowed him to get so popular in the first place. He wouldn't have won without them, right? And now they're just doing their job because he's such a fuck up, right? He's such an incompetent fucking moron. He's a bad leader. Right, and this is what the media is supposed to do. The media is supposed to, like, report on shit, right? So when President fucking Donald Trump, fucking, like, goes out and insults the President of Canada and fucks up, like, the President, insults the President of Mexico and does, like, doesn't know how to fucking shake hands with the Prime Minister of Japan and, starts a fucking trade war with like China. When he does these things, right, they have to, that's their job, is to report on it, right? Their job is not to sugarcoat the truth, okay? And, and if you ask me, they should have been doing this shit a year ago. If they would have been doing their jobs a year ago, his ass would not be president now. So, Jesus Christ. All right, one last one. Democrats are obstructing Trump. This is another argument, the last one I want to touch on, where you hear people saying that he'd be doing so much better if the Democrats would just, like, step in line. This is shit that, like, Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan have been saying lately. And it's like these people forgot everything that happened in the last 8 years. Republicans do not get to say, right, that Trump is being obstructed, all right? Because they obstructed every single thing that Obama did for 8 years in an attempt to keep him from getting any type of policy victory at all whatsoever. I mean, we don't even need, and we can go into the number of filibusters. If you guys really need, a reminder of that, just go into Google and type in Obama filibuster. See what comes up, I mean, fuck, man. They Mitch McConnell in 2012, Mitch McConnell fucking filibustered his own bill. All right. I mean, don't get me fucking started on that shit. And then let's not also forget all the fights over the debt ceiling, I don't know if you guys remember that, the Republicans constantly fucking fighting over the debt ceiling. We had that ridiculous sequester thing, that was like, and then they shut down the fucking government last year. Did they ever shut down the government during the Bush terms, Bush years? No. All right. They don't, now it's not going to happen now. You know why? Because they have a Republican president. Okay. Because this is shit that Republicans do to fuck up Democrats because they don't give a shit about spending or any of that stuff when they're in charge, right? So and I mean, fuck, man. What about the Supreme Court? Nomination for like a year. They blocked Obama's Supreme Court nominee, right? And he never even actually got to. He never even got it. It's like, so don't talk to me about obstruction. It's just ridiculous. All of these arguments are just they're either they're ridiculous, they're intellectually dishonest, or they're fucking like hypocritical to the extreme. And it's all because, Republicans don't really give a shit about any of those things. They don't care about any of that stuff, except when they're not in charge. All right. Those things only apply to Democrats. They only apply to your enemy, right? It's fucking bullshit. And anytime you hear these things, anytime you hear anybody argue these things, just walk away. Fuck them. They're gone. It's not even worth spending the time to talk to somebody about this when they try to pull this shit up because they obviously don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Anyway, adios, folks.